Chad Hasty Show, News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO. Joining us on the phones this morning, National Press Secretary for the GOP, Cassie Smedile, joining us here on the Chad Hasty Show. Cassie, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great, and it's great to be with you.
Well, it's great to have you on the program, and of course, we've got a big rally that's going to be happening down in Houston on Monday, and President Trump and Senator Ted Cruz are going to be headlining.
That's right, and I just saw they had to switch to a bigger arena because they ran out, or the RSVPs were so overwhelming. So that's really exciting, and obviously going to be a great day down there in Texas.
You know, what is it with President Trump and the rallies that he has? There's just so much enthusiasm, and you listen to the national press corps talk about President Trump, and there's obviously they can't stand the guy, and they want to pass this narrative along that people are abandoning Trump, and there's this big blue wave. But every time the president is holding a rally, just thousands of people are showing up, and they're excited about what's going on.
You're right, and it's time and again, and they drive for hours to get there with no guarantee that you'll even get in. It's really incredible to see firsthand, and it's because, you know, when President Trump was candidate Trump, he was so refreshing to all of us because he just talked like us, and he talked to us and with us, and he said, all right, that's a problem for you. I make a promise to you right now that I'm going to do something about that. And then that's a promise that a lot of people have made to you before, and they've never kept it. I'm going to keep it. And then as time's gone on, we're 2 years into his presidency almost, and think of all of these promises that he made and the promises that he kept. And I love that he loves to be out on the road, and I think we love to continue hearing from him and to hear, you remember the last time I was here and I made that promise to you? I kept it. And the crowd goes wild. And it's a really fun energy. And certainly, whether it's Ted Cruz or anyone candidate on the ballot, they all benefit from having him in town. So we feel great that the president loves to be out there. We just have trouble keeping up with his schedule.
Yesterday, there was a town hall, and you had Ted Cruz's opponent, Beto O'Rourke, and I've had him on my show. And when I had him on my show back in, I believe it was April, he at that time said he would vote to impeach Donald Trump. Now, he also said, want to see all the evidence and all this other stuff. But he said at that time, back in April, that he would vote to impeach President Trump. Once again last night, he said he would vote to impeach Donald Trump. It is talk like that from a guy who wants to take over Ted Cruz's seat, someone who wants to be in the Senate. Is that the type of talk that is firing up Republicans and getting people to rally behind Senator Cruz right now here in Texas?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you why. Because we want people elected to Congress or whether it's the White House who are going to fight for us, right? We want somebody who's going to go in there and say, I'm going to fight to bring more jobs to your state. I'm going to fight to bring more businesses to your state or tax cuts, more money in your pocket. I'm fighting for you. And we say, that's what I want. That's what I want out of my elected official. And then on the other side, you've got guys who just want to fight, whether that's fight against the president, fight against the process. And that doesn't help us better our lives. So every time these guys go out and say, I'm going to muck up the process with impeachment proceedings, baseless impeachment proceedings, mind you, that's another day that they're not fighting for us, that they're not fighting to get something done to help us make our lives better. And it's incredible to me that the Democrats are being so open about their intentions because they know that that doesn't help anybody, any American, any Texan, to have a better life by them going up there spending all their time in Washington on baseless impeachment proceedings. Yeah. That doesn't get me more money in my pocket. That doesn't get more jobs in my community. So every time he says, I'm going to vote for impeachment, I think that's another vote for Ted Cruz.
Before I let you go, I want to talk about the RNC overall, and I'm glad you're on the show today to talk about, obviously the Trump rally and Senator Cruz. The RNC overall, how are things looking, for Republicans nationwide? Obviously, this is going to be a very, very, very important midterm election. I'm hoping Republicans keep a hold of the House. Right now, how are things looking overall for the Republicans?
Right. Well, you name it. We were expecting this to be a very competitive midterm all along. History tells us that it's competitive for the party that holds the White House. So we put ourselves in a position to be able to turn out the biggest and most well-funded ground game grassroots operation our party has ever put together. So we've got the biggest operation with the most volunteers we've ever had, 28 states. Of course, Texas is a big part of that. Over 200,000 just everyday volunteers, not to mention the tens of thousands more that we've heavily trained and are on our staff. And on top of that, they're all armed with the best data in the business, so that when you're getting a phone call from someone about encouraging you to go out and vote, there's a real reason someone's calling you. It's not just because you randomly appeared on a list. You're a voter. We want to go out and vote, and we've got data that tells us that. So hopefully we're not bugging you too much, but if you go vote, we'll stop bugging you. But so that we feel great about the position we're in, and as we say, we're ready to defy history, and Texas is a big part of holding on to, and in some cases expanding our majorities. We've got great candidates, an awesome state team that's all across your great state, and we feel good about things on November 6th, and it's because we've positioned ourselves well to bring home a lot of victories. And the bottom line, if you got good candidates like Senator Cruz and Pete Sessions and others, combined with this great grassroots program that we've built, that's the recipe for success.
Cassie Smedile, the National Press Secretary for the GOP, appreciate your time today, and good luck the rest of the way, and good luck with the midterms.
Well, thanks for the time. Have a great weekend.
You too. That's Cassie Smedile with the GOP National Press Secretary for the Republican Party.